20th century, we had the next thing that's coming, next bomb that is coming, the modernism. It starts off with that, and a lot of things are happening. But again, the grace of God works, and we have the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima. It is like big bomb, right? We've heard a lot about Our Lady of Fatima's apparitions, and 70,000 people, they see the sun spinning. And we have the Legion of Mary. We still have it in our parishes, right? And there are a lot of apparitions that's happening during this 20th century, those years and all. There's a lot of apparitions happening in different parts of the world, like in Belgium. Like there is one Lady of Kibeho. I don't know if you've heard it. Lady of Kibeho, she revealed about the Rosary of Our Lady of Sorrows. That's also a very powerful weapon. Devotion to Our Lady of Sorrows. All these terms, no, I mean, this invocation that we give to Mary for a particular need, they play a very important role. So when you, this Our Lady of Sorrows is very important especially when you're tempted a lot, or when you're going through a lot of evil attacks. It's very powerful prayer because it mainly meditates. It's a meditation of the sorrows of the passion of Christ. Okay, and Mary's sorrows are also attached to. So it's the very powerful thing, especially when you're down days. And then comes our dear Pope John Paul II. 2 weeks after he gets into his Pope role, he declares that Rosary is my favorite prayer over radio. And then he is the most traveled Pope. He goes far and wide preaching. He writes a lot about Mother Mary. And then in 2002, he comes up with the next major weapon, the luminous mystery. Actually, a lot of people, they are not able to accept luminous mystery. They say, like, we stick on to the origins, okay? I mean, original, the three, the ones which is handed to, but no. Luminous mystery, it was given like, it's not a new thing actually. The 3 of those decades in the luminous mystery was already mentioned in Louis de Montfort's book. Okay, and it was actually not Pope John Paul II who came up with it. He just made it official. There was another person called George Precca. He came up with all these mysteries. Okay, so there were a lot of people who were working before Pope actually declared it. And this was like the need of the hour. These mysteries were like the need of the hour, because that time we were going through, people had issues with baptism, marriage, man and man, girl and girl, whatsoever. It was an actual blow to all these kind of new trends that was coming up. If you meditate on all those 5 decades that we have in this luminous mystery, it's all against the age. People are not able to accept Jesus as God, right? And they can't accept Eucharist. There's so much of blow against the Eucharist. So this is a very powerful tool, which actually you shouldn't neglect it. It should be a very important prayer. So again, see, 2000 is like very near, right? We were there. Rosary was still getting evolved, right? And the Fatima prayer also, which is actually included in this, right? That, oh my Jesus, forgive us our sins. And the whole content of Rosary, starting from the first Our Father to the end, it's full of the things of the Bible only. It's a scriptural thing, totally scriptural. And the Our Father, it's so weighty in itself. And that's the reason Rosary is considered as a most primary devotion. And in fact, there is a comparison which Louis de Montfort, he has done with this and the Psalter, the normal Psalter, the Psalms. Okay, because Psalms is about Jesus before he came, right? But Rosary speaks about Jesus, the Word incarnate. After he came, he established his order. Everything is, his ministry, everything is established. So it's post that. So that's why Rosary has got more weightage. Some people say, why do you wear Rosary? True that you have to recite the Rosary, which is very important. And Louis de Montfort says that you have to recite it most devoutly. It has to be very devoutly said. But at the same time, Louis de Montfort says that it is a prayer. If you have faith, if you have strong faith, and if you have good works, you don't have to worry about the concentration part. Just say the Rosary. So you have a little leniency there also. But if you say it with all that devotion, one Rosary, and when this was given to Saint Dominic, the rule was to say the 3 mysteries every day. Now if it's 4, so that was a rule. That is called a Rosary. Okay, in olden days, that was called Rosary. But then again, due to lack of time, and even the monks, they had, their own duties. Out of obedience, they had to do a lot of things, right? So because of that, it was diluted, and it was put for like one day, you say at least 1 Rosary. So when we wear this Rosary around our neck, for us it's just a bead. But when the Satan sees it, it's as if we are holding a sword in our hands. and he can't stand it. Just like, when we see some security guards, we know that they can't do anything. We know that they will be the first people who will run. But when we see a weapon in their hand, we are like, just stay, keep a distance. So just like that, when we hold a rosary in our hand, when we put it on our neck, it's a warning. Okay, this guy has got something to do with Mother Mary. You better keep a distance. And it is said there is one story of one king. He used to wear this rosary on his belt. Okay, he used to wear it. But he never recited it much. Okay, he was busy. He's a king, obviously. He never got time and all that, but he used to wear this. But a lot of people in his court, seeing him wear it, they started reciting the rosary. And one fine day, he dies. And he goes to the before the throne of God, and Satan is there. He is accusing him of all the sins, and God is about to pronounce his judgment. Right then, the lady appears there, and a lady says that she takes a scale, that beam balances there, no, the beam. She takes the beam and she puts the sins of this man on this. It's very heavy, it goes down. And on the other side, she puts all the rosaries the people started reciting, just because this man started putting the rosary. And it was much heavier than this side. And then he's sent back. And she says that out of the mercy of the Lord, which comes through my intercession, you're going back, lead a good life. Okay, and he comes back. It was like a near-death experience for him. He comes back and then he starts leading. He starts spreading about rosary. So such amazing things we have. Okay, and maybe you guys already have this book called The Secrets of the Rosary by Louise de Montfort. That's one of the best books you will ever, or at least you have YouTube audios and all audiobooks are there. It's very good book. It's so devout. You just fall in love. You just read few pages. You're like, oh, I want to say a rosary right away. So that's the feeling, because the way he explains it, he says that each bead in your rosary is like a rose bud. The moment you finish one Hail Mary, it just blossoms, it just blooms. These three mysteries that we have, right? The joyful, sorrowful, luminous, and glorious mystery. So earlier it was just the three, right? He has explained in his book, it's the life, death and resurrection of Jesus. Not just that, it is also our life. It is going to help in our life, our death, and for us to get joined with God in heaven. So it is spread across our life also. So that's how this whole rosary is. And there is this thing like nothing makes Mary more happy than to see her children saying these words. When I was reciting one rosary, I was thinking like, there's no other name, no other salutation that Mother Mary would be liking. Like, for example, if we had a dream of Jesus, right? Or we saw a vision of Jesus in our childhood days, or a God experience, we call it as a God experience, right? So we so remember it. All our life we remember it. Mary's salutation is like, so she wants to hear this. It's not like, I used to think, okay, we keep saying Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. And Mother Mary is like, oh, I'm so bored hearing this. So many centuries, people are saying the same thing. No, it's not like that for her. It's like, more you say, she's like more joyful. Just like that Mary who visits Elizabeth, she's so joyful. Again and again, she wants to hear it all her life. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Okay, and when she sees the children coming together and praying this, there's nothing that makes her more joyful than this. And there are a lot of techniques that we use for our rosary. Like that, I've heard one auntie here. So what she does it with each bead. She'll imagine herself to kiss the eyes of the body of Jesus, like one bead for the eye, another bead for another eye, another bead for his cheeks. And it could be the Jesus of that mystery. Okay, if it's like the Jesus who's crucified, you can think of Jesus blood, full of blood, and you're just imagining, and so you can keep track of that count. Okay, and I found it very effective. It's so beautiful. You guys can try it out one day. It's like you feel like an adoration kind of feel. You are in the adoration, you're with Christ, and it can be the baby Jesus or whatever is the mystery that you're reciting. Or one technique that I use is when I try to imagine, you have to meditate the mysteries. Okay, without meditation of the mysteries, it wouldn't help much. Mary also wouldn't be that happy. Mary wants you to focus on her son, not on her. Okay, so one thing is like I try to picture Mary in that situation, how Mary was at the cross of Jesus, how Mary was, and that has helped me a lot I mean, I'm able to relate a lot to these mysteries and all. And it's not like that you will get tired of this rosary. I mean, what from my personal experience is like, the more you recite, more and more insights you get about the rosary. The lady promises that if you're faithful, then I shall give you the intellect to understand the mysteries of God. And also, right now, the apparitions that we have going on is the Medjugorje. So that is also a continuation of Our Lady of Fatima's messages. It's a message of love, and it's a lot to do with fasting and prayer. And she reminds about reciting rosaries again and again. If there is any issues related to the countries going for war and things like that, like situations that we are slowly moving into, there's the only way you can battle it is through prayer and fasting. And yes, she focuses, these Medjugorje messages are all focused around the Eucharist. Okay, it's a kind of fasting that they do on every week, Wednesday and Friday, and Thursday is the day of prayer because it's the day when Jesus instituted the Holy Eucharist. So they fast on bread and water. Okay, it's not that they don't eat at all, they just eat bread and water. She keeps emphasizing that part about this prayer and fasting. And yeah, that's it. So I'll wind up with this quote which was given to Blessed Alain de Roche: "The world is filled with ravenous wolves, and you unfaithful dog know not how to bark."